rain that we've had lately, and we're ready to kick it off. So I'd love to start at the top of the garden, talking about the water systems that we've designed over the past year. It's a very new garden, but we were very fortunate to have most of the year at home to be able to work on it. It's a great place to be. So if you'd like to come on up.
Hang on for a second, and then I believe you guys are going to go live now.
Yeah.
We're live on this one.
Oh, okay.
Now, your one is...
Yeah, that's that one. Yep. All right.
Do you want to hold it or do you want me to follow you around?
Oh. Yeah, I suppose. I got to hold it. I got to hold it. What am I doing?
Hi,
I'm
everyone.
standing here.
So you're live
Yes.
now on the virtual over there, and your one over here.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Here we go with the virtual Sydney Edible Garden Trail 2021. Let us know where you're joining us from so that we can get a nice handle of how far and wide the virtual Sydney Edible Garden Trail is going to go. Over the course of today, I'll be visiting 9, yes, you heard it, 9 gardens, which I'm super excited about, and they will all be broadcast live on the virtual Sydney Edible Garden Trail page, as well as the Sydney Edible Garden Trail YouTube channel. And because of some issues with some changes this week, you'll be able to see them on both of those platforms. I'll be broadcasting this video of this garden, and then I'll be heading over later on in the day. You'll be able to see another garden later. So we've got Rose joining us from Ipswich. Welcome. Moira from Melbourne. Justin in Brisbane. Guildford West. Priscilla, welcome. Ngunnawal Country in Canberra, Tamsin, and Tumby Umby, Ian, up on the Central Coast. So welcome everyone. It's fantastic to have you along. This is so cool. The Sydney Edible Garden Trail is going into its 2nd year, and it's going to be bigger and better. So my first, Lake Cathy in New South Wales. Bonjour from the Central Coast. Good morning from the wet tropics in Cairns. G'day, Toby Sterling. All right, so our first garden, and she's here, and she's a wonderful part of the committee that's running the garden. I'm here at Laurie's place, and she's going to show us an element of her garden which I think is really valuable, and it's all about water and water management. So I'm going to flick the camera around. Harndorf in South Australia, welcome. Brisbane, Shepparton, wow. And St Ives. Well, welcome everyone from, and Sutherland, welcome from the Shire. All right, here we go.
Good morning.
Hi, Laurie.
Hi.
How you going?
Good.
That's good.
So, I was going to say this is a really new garden, less than a year old. Very fortunate to have been able to spend 2020 working on it. It's been designed using permaculture principles. So it's a zoned space. We've got chickens, bees, but most importantly, the water systems have just been integral to the design. So we've got a DIY grey water system, and it's basically about moving water around the property. And it's just a standard suburban block, but it can easily be achieved if you plan it properly.
Wow, and I mean, looking ahead, it's such a critical part. The value of water is starting to be appreciated by everyone.
Yes.
And capturing it and keeping it on your block is critical to that hydration process of creating microclimates, cooling the land around your property, reducing the heat effect, and solar passively cooling by having plants and surfaces that are shaded and so on.
And working on the soil so that it holds that moisture. Yeah.
So where do you want to begin?
So I thought we'd just walk up the side of the house to show you the grey water systems. So it's a kind of a long block that faces north, but this is south facing. This is our laundry, and it's just a quick solution where a pipe comes out from the washing machine into here, and then there's a hose that runs all the way down the back, gravity fed. So it's sitting up quite high on this step.
Like a plinth?
Yeah, it's actually a step, but we were so fortunate to have it here. We basically retrofitted the old house to accept it in this way.
Yeah. And what's that, as far as, so that's 100 litres.
It is.
What's your average washing machine load, do you know?
For a family,
Yeah.
probably at least a load a day.
Yeah.
So 60 litres or so. And then this hose just gets moved around the garden, so no pump or anything. And then the washing liquid that we use is very low sodium.
Yep.
Because long term that can affect your soil.
And I mean, look at that. That's you know, from the point of view of a plinth, if you didn't have, you know, A, the budget, or B, the need to build a plinth, you had it as a staircase.
Absolutely.
But I mean, 4 pallets,
Yes.
four timber pallets could easily give you the elevation to get the gravity to pump it around most of your site. Of course, if you're not on an upward sloping site. But yeah, fantastic.
We have another one just with Besser blocks that were free on free cycle, so whatever you can use.
Yeah.
Yep. Very quickly up here, we've got another one from the bath, and similarly it gets pumped out using a fish tank pump.
So, yeah, and I mean, a fish tank pump isn't going to take very long to empty a bath of, say, 50 litres or something.
So just here, undercover, out the bath window, and then this is on a Besser block here. And we the kids fill it from a kid's watering can and water this side of the garden.
Okay, now, just before we go, Selena said Laurie needs to speak up. So, okay, can hear well on YouTube. Oh, that's interesting. Thanks, Bridge. So it's only on Facebook that you're having some volume from Laurie is not good. Good morning. Okay, so, all right. All right, well, we'll just...
Up a bit.
Talk louder. Yeah, talk louder. Okay, we'll just talk louder. I mean, we've got a directional mic on here, so it should be doing the job. But let us know, everyone, if you're not hearing, it's critical that you hear. I can hear Laurie well on Facebook. Okay, thanks, Katja. I can hear it fine. Okay, thanks, Scotty Ross.
Okay.
All right, let's go on.
All right. So this basically is the kids' garden. We've got 3 wicking beds here. It's a sensory garden, and I just wanted to show you 7 months ago that's what it looked like, and now it's all green.
Wow, show that up again. That's a great... I like the sky in that one. They look like Simpsons clouds.
So we removed all these rocks. I did it with a crowbar and a sledgehammer, and then my wonderful devoted partner built this.
So how many months ago?
7 months ago.
7 months.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got berries growing on the fence. There's tomatoes growing up there. 3 corrugated iron beds.
Yep. They're wicking beds. So this water from the house gets moved and stored in here, and then as it gets used up, it's re-topped. So no water gets wasted. It's about moving it and holding it in different places on the property.
Yep.
And then the last one down here, absolutely nothing is wasted. This is air conditioning, and it doesn't get used very often, but we've had it installed so that it doesn't go into the gutter, but that we have a pipe, and then we can put a bucket on it and reuse that too.
I mean, you know, when it comes to those concepts of simple retrofitting, we've sort of been for too long just passing the water on.
Yes.
Take it away, take it off the site. Well, once you get it back in the ground, it does all those beneficial things for gardens, but also for the sustainability of the house. Wow. So a quick question on the wicking beds, just while I'm here.
Yes.
What sort of a system did you use inside?
These are actually prefab with a cell underneath.
Uh-huh.
We've had them for about 6 or 7 years.
Yep.
And these have actually, as a different subject, they've got inbuilt worm buckets.
Oh yes. Now, this is a really simple way to create worm farms anywhere. Basically, a white pail, and oh look, the worms are escaping. They're wanting to get out and eat some tomatoes. But basically, cut the bottom out of it, screw it into the garden bed, and there's a worm farm. Throw some worms in it. So they will then go around and look after the garden bed, which is fantastic. And you know, you don't have to buy anything. You can pick these up cheap, you know, just outside your favourite restaurant, basically.
And they're food safe. They're meant for food, so that's great. We'll come down. So in permaculture talk, this is big spider web.
Oh, that's a bummer. I took the spider out.
I've got you.
We just
A beautiful orb.
we did, yeah. Sorry, Orb Weaver. We just did a story which is going to be on Gardening Australia in a couple of months, I hope, on the importance of spiders. So I do my best to never walk through them, but I didn't see that one, unfortunately.
So this is an outdoor kitchen. We do a lot of cooking out here so the house doesn't get hot in summer, and also all of the food from the garden is just here. A dehydrator and pizza oven and a slow cooker.
A little dehydrator.
And this we found on the side of the road. It's going to be a mushroom chamber. It doesn't work anymore. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like just on the side of the road. But it's amazing what people throw out.
Imagine if that was in landfill. So.
Oh.
Yeah. That's a very lucky find.
That is an epic find. Yeah. Wow.
So here in this part, we've got. Just grab a couple of photos for you.
I like this. Someone said, "Who else apologises to spiders when they walk through their web?"
It's true.
Yeah. Thanks, Selena.
So 7 months ago, this was a Hills hoist, and over 500 agapanthus, which we sold for $1 each, and people came and dug them out. So that was the whole garden. When
You sold 500 agapanthus.
Yeah.
You got $500
for $1 each, and they came and dug them out. Yeah.
Wow.
The whole garden.
I mean, for everyone listening, you know, there's so many ways that you know you could have paid to tip them, and you got money to put into the next life. So what have you done here?
So instead of the Hills hoist, we've now got water tanks.
Whoa! Look at that. 2 tanks.
9,500 litres.
So pretty much 10,000 litres.
Yeah.
Or 500 agapanthus.
Yes, that's right.
I think I know which one I prefer.
Yeah. And then we also have chickens in here.
Hello. How many chooks have you got in here?
4 in here. So the side of the tanks here act as a microclimate, and they, because, well, they're full, fortunately, but they cool, or they can absorb the westerly sun and bounce it back onto the bananas. But the most fortunate thing when we came here and when I was digging it out, I found this huge 3.5 metre pond, which was buried, very old, concrete, and so we've retained it and turned it into a wicking bed.
Oh, and that's where you got your bananas?
Yes.
Oh, they'd love that. And papayas?
Yes, so this is actually 2 wicking beds, and there's one in the front is just bananas, and it will be 2 banana circles. There's super dwarf varieties that fruit at 1.5 metres high.
1.5 metres, that's not even the top of the fence there.
No.
Right.
So,
wow.
yeah.
This will be an incredibly productive space. And for everyone watching, we're only talking, I mean, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 metres by barely 3 metres.
Yes, not long.
So it's pretty close to 10 square metres.
Yes.
And you'll be pumping hands of bananas out of this.
We've got our first pawpaws and a couple of babacos as well, which is very exciting.
And I see you built this, so you've got this fence around the whole enclosure.
Yes.
So the chooks have got a pretty good space, and that's their pen up the back.
Yes, so we retrofitted an existing garden shed with a concrete floor, which was just such a blessing. I can show you.
Can we have a look at that?
Of course.
I think this is a good one for everyone to see because that retrofitting aspect is so valuable financially. But
I'll show you quickly.
Oh.
So this is another water thing. These are the tanks, and you can see the first flush actually comes down here, and another tank off that gutter, and they are piped into the wicking beds.
Aha.
So we never have to fill them.
And not even the first flush goes to So if I was trying to eke out a living getting some water from your stormwater outlet to the street, I'd probably die of starvation because there's no water leaving the site.
Not. Even the overflow from the Wicking Beds come into this swale here. This is a swale which is a passive way of holding water, and technically it could overflow down here into a channel, but it never has.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, well, with a banana and papaya
yes,
space like that, their roots are gonna be down there. They'll find
That's right.
they'll find their space.
Yes.
Wow. So the chickens.
So the chickens, basically this shed was here. We lifted the lid and put it on an angle, the roof, ventilation in the top, and then we took the other door off and put it inside here as a divider for nesting boxes, which then allowed us to put the drink and the feed on that side. And then we've got the roost over here.
The inner chicken in me wants to walk up this and just and just roost. Wow. And I mean, what a clean, this is incredibly clean.
I actually ran out of substrate. There is normally substrate on the floor.
Yep.
But as a concrete floor, it's fine.
Yeah, it's so easy. I mean, the good thing about retrofitting something with a slab like that is you can give it a good, for want of a better overused term of like deep clean, and avoid any mites and things, because you've got the hard surface, scrape it all out, you can even hose it and go again. This is a really great example for everyone watching to see an old shed.
And then we've
Living
got
in
the automatic door. And then there's actually a camera on there which I can look while I'm making dinner to check whether they've all gone to bed.
And that they got in before the guillotine dropped.
Yes.
What time? So is this gate sort of on a sun sensor?
Yeah.
So
Sunrise, sunset.
and normally the chickens will be in before because they.
I was up before them this morning as a one-off. So.
Oh really? Ah. So would you recommend these? Would you recommend these little doors?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a family and things get busy, but this way the chickens can look after themselves.
And you know they're safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic.
So the next water thing we have is these two on the other side are both Wicking Beds, but there's a pond here with a vertical garden above. And the way it waters, the water comes from the tank, feeds into these planters, and then the very bottom ones have a pipe to them, which flows into this bucket, and then we use that water.
Oh, when they overflow.
Yes.
So the plants down below will get more water when they flood out. It still goes here.
Still goes here, and then we have water in the chickens to water.
Oh, so the chooks just get that, have that.
No, they don't.
Oh, sorry,
drink
it's
that.
not for their drinking.
It's
No,
for, like,
it's just.
some of the in-ground.
Yeah. Can we get a look at that from the other side? Just so, I'll just give you all a closer look of that vertical wall. But here you're seeing the Wicking Beds with the bananas, and look at the abundance here already. So when did this get planted out?
So we finished it in July last year, so 7 months.
7 months.
Yep. All from tiny little seedlings. But obviously the nutrient cycling from the chickens feeds these really hungry plants.
And the chooks have a lot of space here.
Yes, they do.
Like, I'd be happy if I was a chook
right.
living in amongst a banana forest and have my own retrofitted B&B and
We've got a couple of, this is a kookaburra box and a lorikeet box, and they've got cameras in them too. So we can see them in their nest.
we turned an old rusty tank into a chook pen.
Ah, that's a good idea.
That's a good idea, Lydia. Thanks for sharing that. G'day, Robbie Beale over in Orbost. I hope the show's still on, buddy, and I'll see you down there in a couple of weeks. Okay, here we go.
I'm going to turn the waterfall on for you.
Oh, look at this. Laurie can turn the waterfall on from her phone.
There we go. So the water tanks are piped to the very top of this vertical garden, and that then flows down through here. And on the other side of the chickens is where you see the excess water.
Yep. And so this just recirculates?
No, it doesn't. We just save the pond recirculates.
The pond recirculates?
Yes.
And should it overflow, you
goes
capture
into the
it.
chickens.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
Everyone's loving this.
So a lot of the timber is actually from my uncle's deck that we saved.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, look at that. There's so much upcycling in the garden, Laurie. It's fantastic.
We've got composting down here.
Oh, now we're talking. This is where I'm excited about it all. But look, this is like your compost station.
So we actually have 5 worm farms and 4 compost bins. And so, yeah, we don't waste any food waste. This one is a roto bin, 2-chamber, which gets so hot that we put fish, meat, carcasses, anything in it, and can turn over compost within 6 months. So for a very new garden, that's an amazing resource to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you've got
worm farm.
A worm farm.
And then this here is
what's this?
actually the heater for our outdoor bath.
Uh-huh.
So it's solar powered, and then the bath is rainwater filled. And it was something that I found from a renovation, and we saved it from landfill. It's a very old cast iron bath.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, that's...
I'll show you.
Oh, look at it. Hang on. Stop.
Named by Cecilia Bird last year. Yeah.
This, look, if nothing else from year one of the Sydney Edible Garden Trail lives and breathes, it's resource centre.
Right.
Never look at this as the junk out the back. This is a valuable resource centre. There's containers, there's mesh and netting, there's brick pavers, there's bits of corro, there's compost, there's logs. Everyone has a resource centre, and Cecilia we're forever indebted for that concept. I love it.
So I'm going to lift. This is also an old.
That's an old table. That's a trestle table. That's like your classic sausage sizzle Lions Club, and you put 2 lids. This is there's way too much for everyone to see in this garden. Oh, so this is an old cast iron bath.
Yes.
And this is the deck from your uncle.
Yes.
And that's a table.
And then there's a 50-litre hot water tank that is solar powered. So we only ever use it in the day, and often of an evening the kids will have a bath out here, and then we cook pizza.
They can do a nudie run around the garden.
Well.
There's a toilet out the back here as well. It's all ready for the Sydney Edible Garden Trail.
The sign, yeah.
No, exactly.
So when the plug comes out of this, then it waters the rest of this garden down here.
Of course it does. Like it wasn't like that. There's nothing plumbed in.
No.
Like the plumber's like, well, where do I run anything?
We did it all. There's no plumbers.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Any plumber looking at this place would go, well, there's nothing leaving the site.
That's right. So this garden here is the food forest part of the garden. So we chop and drop everything, and we've been working on the soil the most because it's not an enclosed garden like a wicking bed, but there is so much organic matter here that it holds a huge amount of moisture.
Wow.
You can see it's been planted for six months or so. 6 months.
That's the other thing. Look at these salvias, a 6-month salvia, and it's taller than me. But Laurie, my pineapple aerial has just spotted something in. Spotted something in here.
A tiny little one.
Oh, hang on. We just lost. Or did that just go off, or did it? I'm not sure if it just turned off. Anyway, my one's still broad. Sorry, Laurie. Let's carry on.
Right. And then here we've got more of the same wicking beds. So the same idea that the water tanks distribute water from there to here and store it, so that they can continually be filled and we don't waste any water.
And how many are here? 1, 2.
There's 9 here. So they're east facing. So the idea is that they just get the morning sun, northeast facing. In the front we've got a beneficial insects garden bed. And then in behind, these are traditionally annual beds that turn over, but then we use the permaculture ideas of 3 sisters. So we've got peanuts growing here with corn and then a climbing tromboncino.
Oh, look at that tromboncino. I think I saw a photo of you holding a very large one some time ago. Yeah, look at that. That might have been that one.
No.
Or was it another one? You've already picked that one.
Yeah.
Wow. And just tucked away in here, just by the way, on the way past, you've got a native beehive.
Yes.
But this I think, for everyone watching, this is a really valuable vision. Like, to see the idea of the beneficial bed cradled up against the growing. You want to bring insects, well, bring insects. Yet you've still got your grass, you've got your wicking beds managing water carefully. It's all working, and you're using the fence.
Yes. Well, this was previously literally full of agapanthus and viburnum, and friends dug out the viburnum, and the agapanthus obviously were rehomed. So we also, the last water management thing is we have a stormwater easement, which sometimes overflows, but there is a ditch through the middle here, which you can see. So when it overflows, it then sits in this ditch and soaks through. So a swale, essentially.
Yeah, essentially a swale, yeah. All right, well, look, I'm getting the
wind up.
I'm getting the wind up. We've got 8 more gardens to visit.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
Laurie, for the beginner gardener, what would you say is the go-to element? I mean, I think water's been part of the theme, but what would you give to the beginner gardener as an important element from your experience?
I would say start small and grow, because if you do too much, then you're more likely to fail. But also only plant what you like to eat, because there's no point spending all that energy growing things if it's not going to end up on the table.
And to an experienced gardener, what would you say to them?
Planning is the main thing, and using as many natural techniques as you can. They've been around for so long and they're tried and tested, and they work. It's just much better for the environment, ecosystem.
Well, thank you very much for an amazing tour. Your garden's going to be open for the Edible Garden Trail,
Not
is
at
it?
this stage.
No, not at this stage, no. So you're all very lucky. Even for Sydney-siders who are going on the Open Garden Trail, you've had a chance to check out Laurie's garden. Thanks everyone for joining in from around the country, and Laurie, thanks for throwing open the garden. All right, what will I finish with?
The berm, which is not...
The berm. Oh,
it's nothing.
Okay, I'll finish with the berm and the sunflowers, because the sunflowers look pretty happy.
So we haven't planted it out yet, so this is just all cover crops and seeds that were thrown in here to feed the soil. This will eventually be a mini food forest.
As well?
Yeah.
Wow.
Focusing on citrus because it's west facing.
So cool ideas running through my head for my own garden. That's great, Adrian. Well, thanks everyone. Jump across to the virtual Sydney Edible Garden Trail, where all of the other broadcasts will be from now on over the rest of the day, and I'll be broadcasting again later in the day from one of the last gardens. So thanks for joining us. Thanks, Laurie, and yeah, welcome to 2021 Sydney Edible Garden Trail. We're underway. Woo!
Thank you.
Boom!
I just need to sort something out with mine. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Oh.
That was great.
Oh, good.
That was really good.
Yeah, cool.
There was so much. There was, it's always nice when the cameras are rolling.
Yes.
That's one thing we learn, you know, when you're mic'd up. Because you get mic'd up in the
You've
middle of the
gotta be
day.
really
You've got to be really careful. Because, you know, you shouldn't say anything about the camera person or the sounder because they're listening, you know, they're listening. But
A
wow.
lot of power. So,
Yeah, they do. Yeah. But no, the water aspects, you sort of really walked us through that, and it was all visual. I think it came across really nicely.
Good. Okay.
Wind up from this feed.
Oh,
Sorry?
we can wind up from this feed.
Oh, okay. So thank you so much for visiting our garden virtually. Hopefully there are some questions there which I can have a look at later and help anybody that needs anything. And enjoy the rest of the trail. 8 to go.